Hello everybody, my name is Cool Blue, and I'm bringing you guys, once again, CasNet Network presents a CasNet interview, and this is an interview with the one, the only, Helium Umbrella, or Helium as I assume you prefer to be called. So, Helium, would you like to say hello to all the beautiful people out there?
How's it going, everybody? Pretty excited to do this interview. The live voice interview. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be awesome, especially if I can actually switch this overlay. Man, I was searching for that thing. But yeah, so first things first, Helium, would you like to introduce yourself in general?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Joseph Heliumbrella Cunningham. At least that's what I go by online. In real life, I usually just go by Joey. As you guys, or at least most of you, should know, I'm an aspiring Dota 2 caster, esports enthusiast in general. I guess I would consider myself a nerd. But, you know, I do some things outdoors. I like to snowboard. I like to skateboard.
Ooh, fancy.
And yeah, yeah.
Alright, and as far as real life, because you mentioned a few things like snowboarding and stuff that you do away from the computer, like what do you do in real life for like work and stuff, or school if you're still in school?
So I graduated from the University of Virginia in May 2012, and you know, it took me a little while to find a job. I also moved across the country a couple times in between graduating and finding a job, but now I find myself in Miami, and I do coding. I got a computer science degree, so I do Java development, Java web development.
And that like what is that? Like what is that all about? Like, do you make apps for phones and stuff? Do you make apps for the computers? I mean, what goes on with the web development for Java?
Well, I'm actually, the position was titled web development, but I'm kind of finding myself more on the lower level of things. We're creating some libraries to provide functionality to some of the higher ups, the senior developers, coding stuff on the front end.
So I mean, like, so you do the boring part? It's like you don't do the glorification, like the Minecraft making you like the person who makes the chunks work?
No, I mean, we're not making video games. It's just a website that offers services. So it's not too bad. I mean, what I'm working on is like airfare stuff, communicating with the servers to get like air ticketing information and booking flights and stuff.
Oh, you do that kind of stuff. You do the stuff where the money is. Oh my gosh. You do the stuff you get paid.
Yeah, well, money is in apps, but it's kind of like Dota casting. Only the top 1% are really, you know, getting it done in the bank at least.
Yeah, well, me personally, as an aspiring network admin, because that's what my major is essentially in school, because I'm still in school right now for those who don't know, I like to think that the people who do the work behind the scenes are the ones who get paid a lot. When I know we just get paid like $10 anyway. So, anyway,
Yeah,
thanks, Helium, for bringing us back down to reality. And
No problem.
how did you get into video games in general?
I mean, it's hard to pick a moment of when I really got into video games, but I mean, some of my earlier memories are, well, maybe my parents were great, by the way, but maybe I should have been playing the original Doom at such a young age, or Quake. Turok as well for the N64. I mean, I'm an N64 kid, so I remember getting Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, all that stuff for Christmas. So that got me into consoles, and then, you know, with the birth of the internet and some online games, I started playing Counter-Strike when I was around 12 or 13 with some of my friends, and I've continued. I still play Counter-Strike, and I started online gaming started with Counter-Strike, and then quickly into StarCraft, and then a couple of years down the road, Dota 2, and those are pretty much my main three right there.
And you mentioned two. Actually, no, you mentioned three games that I pretty much played a lot of. Counter-Strike really late, StarCraft really late, yes. But as far as the transition from Counter-Strike to StarCraft, and then from StarCraft to Dota, like, what kind of craziness was going on there? Like you went from first-person shooter to RTS, and then from RTS to Ragefest. So what inspired that transition?
Well, I started playing Counter-Strike with one of my friends I knew in real life, and we quickly met some guys online, so I got some online friends, and they happen to be Korean, and anyone that follows StarCraft remotely knows that it's big. So they had already played StarCraft, and, you know, after a match or a night of scrimming and playing some Counter-Strike matches, we'd be like, all right, you know, let's do some 1v1s in StarCraft, and that's how that got started. And then same thing, we brought in some more people, and then they played Dota, and we're like, all right, let's see what that's about. It was a team game again, so it was another kind of RTS style game that we could just play together. And also, I think the common denominator here is that they're the best three esports titles of all time.
Pretty much. I mean, it's Counter Strike has been pulling a lot of weight. A lot of people don't give it credit. A lot of people give more credit to Quake than Counter Strike, but Counter Strike to me is kind of what started most of it. Although technically Quake was there first, whatever.
Yeah, I mean Quake was there first, and some games even before that. I might get it wrong, but I think Hexor maybe got it started even before Quake. There were some big esports tournaments in North America in like the early '90s, believe it or not.
Okay, educate me real fast. Just like a little bit brief knowledge on or brief background on the things, because the things you just mentioned. Because I follow esports, but I don't follow as heavily as I should.
All right, I'll pull up the goods here. Oh, I gotta type in my password.
Oh, he has the good guys. Helium knows things.
I wrote to graduate. I had to write a thesis, so I actually wrote it on esports and casting, which I guess will be an answer to some of these some questions later potentially.
Holy crap! Nice.
But let's see. The first with what am I reading is hard. So way back in the dial-up era is kind of when esports got started out with id. Some of you might call it ID Software's release of Doom in 1993. It was the first networked first-person shooter game, and it was a deathmatch mode. And after that, people started loving it and playing, connecting modem to modem. It was mainly started in college gaming because colleges and universities. So I guess universities were the only people with the networks initially. Right. And then with Doom 2, it got bigger than that. And then what is this? In Richmond, Virginia, mid-October, Doom 2. There was what I can read. Okay, never mind. Whatever. Scratch this. We're getting off track here. But basically, Doom pretty much started off the online first-person shooter, and then Quake, I think, got more popular, but it wasn't what started it.
No, was it? Not and
then in 1998, we got Half-Life and Counter-Strike coming out around the same time, I think. StarCraft.
Right, exactly. Because Counter-Strike is technically built off a Half-Life engine or Source engine and all stuff. So like you obviously know a lot about the background of video games in general and esports and how it grew to be. So what actually brought you sorry, hold on, what's my next question? Oh, how did you get into Dota? That was the question that was next, but you kind of already answered it. But
yeah, we kind of already covered it. Just, friends got me into it, and then, I liked it. There was a lot of depth. It was sort of like an RTS. It was hard to play. To get started, it wasn't quite as hard as StarCraft, though. So, I mean, you could be a noob and still have fun, unlike StarCraft.
Right.
Which I was. I was really bad at Dota until like about a year ago. So
I don't know. I will have to disagree because if you're a noob and you play StarCraft, you pretty much die every single time. It's like 3 hatch or some 1 hatch.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like StarCraft, if you suck at StarCraft, it just isn't very fun.
Yeah. Although I kept playing a long time when I was in it, and I know for sure you got a lot. Everybody in general is better than me at StarCraft, so you will probably win a 1v1. So what was your, just since we're off topic, we're talking about the other game now. What was your favorite race in StarCraft?
Well, in Brood War, it was Protoss, for sure. They were very fun. You got the late game carrier mass. I don't even remember the call because it's been so long. They've sort of been reintroduced as the Mothership Cores, but what was the flying unit for Protoss?
Oh, the Corsair?
No, like the big unit. Wow, this is embarrassing.
For Protoss.
I want to say it started with an A.
Are you talking about carriers?
No, it wasn't the carriers. It was the one that had recall.
Oh, Reavers. No, not Reavers.
Shot spirits.
Reclaimer. This started with R, I think. Amen.
No, we'll get it here. I'm like not too far away from figuring it out now. It wasn't the Archon. Where's our air units at here?
Recall.
The Arbiter.
Arbiter. Okay, close. It has an R in it.
Alright, well, it starts with an A, which is I was closer than that.
But it sounds like an R. It is.
I don't know. I just like Protoss. Basically, they were really strong, and I always thought they were kind of the easier race, so why not play them? And they required a lot of expanding and macro, which I was good at. Micro, I was really bad at. And then I also played them in StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty, and it might offend some people here, but they were really cheesy and stupid in StarCraft 2, but I still just played them because, I played them first.
And our conversation is actually going more into the technical side of things, so I'm gonna skip to the next question, go to the one under it. What actually got you into casting? Because by the sounds of it, you're a very, very enthusiastic player of StarCraft or just games in general, Dota included, or Dota being the main one since that's kind of what the interview's all about. But what actually got you into casting? Like, what made that transition happen for you from player to commentator?
Yeah, so about a year and a half now, late September in 2012. I started watching a lot more pro Dota. I started realizing I was terrible at Dota. And still am, unfortunately. I wanted to get better, so I started by watching my replays, and I found it was kind of hard to sit there and just focus on a replay. So what I did was I started casting my own replays to learn. And then, after I cast a few, I was like, hey, I think, maybe I'm pretty good at this. My friend started casting with me, Callie, back in the day.
Nice.
He has since gone, unfortunately. But I got a lot better. I went from a complete noob to, I think I'm decent now. But, I'm still trash, of course, in the grand scheme of things.
So what events have you casted in? Because like you said, you've been casting for a while. Actually, no, better question. How long have you been casting so far?
Since September 2012, so well, maybe a little past, maybe like October 2012. So what is that now? About a year and a half? I don't know. I don't really do.
All right.
I want to look at a calendar.
A long enough time to say that you've actually started making ground. You actually started commentating for big events. And
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of which, what big events or what events in general have you casted for so far?
So I mentioned Counter-Strike, of course, and back in the day I played in Cal, and slowly that started to die off, so we switched over to CEVO. When I started getting a little more serious into Dota 2, I was looking for tournaments to play in, so CEVO was, of course, the first place I checked, and I got a splash screen that said, relaunching in like a month. So we trained up a little bit for a month, started doing some 5v5s for the first time, like captain's mode. And then we lost. We went 2-2 in a double Leyland bracket, so at least we broke even, right?
Right. Yeah. At least you won something.
Yeah. At least we won 2 games and we had that. So after we lost, I was like, all right. Well, we kind of started casting. Let's see if we can cast for this tournament. And the team that took us out, I'm sure you're aware of Corey now playing for Team Zephyr, correct?
No, it sounds familiar, but no.
The Korean, Purge, Blitz, Bambo.
Oh, okay, those guys, right.
Eosin. Yeah, so Corey is their carry, arguably the best person on the team.
Oh,
he was actually.
Okay. I'm sorry. Right.
Yeah, he was actually the team that beat us in CEVO and took us out. And then I contacted one of his teammates, Theory, and I was like, "Hey, like, you guys just beat us. We've been thinking of casting. Like, can you give us the info to your next game so we can cast it?" And that's where it started. And I've since cast that. They were still picking Lycan, and then they were farming all day every day for a long time. So some of you might recognize the team name. I've cast them like 100 times.
So you started casting in that event, and then you started casting to your other events. Like that just like bubbled up into a bigger, better events because you started knowing more people.
Yeah, it was CEVO for a while, and then like a season and a half of CEVO went by, and that turned into a lot of connections with players. And some other people had noticed me that hosted smaller tournaments, and I'm not going to remember all of the names, but one name I do remember, a small tournament I started casting with was the Man Up tournament that one of my friends put on.
Oh, I remember that one. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
I cast for that one too.
Yeah, I would say you cast it as well. So a lot of the same tournaments I'm sure we've been involved in. But CEVO and smaller stuff, and I mean, to be honest, CEVO's even small currently. We're working on it, and actually people should go sign up their teams. You've got 4 more days at CEVO.com. But then I started casting with Neo Dota. Or on my own channel, I was casting like 9 games a night of the NEL back when it still existed.
Right.
And people took notice of that, obviously, and Neo Dota picked me up, so I was casting on their channel officially for a little while.
Nice. And just for those who don't know, Neo Dota is what?
Wait, what?
What is Neo Dota like? Like what organization, what group, what region is that supposed to stand for?
Neo is an acronym, but I don't even know what it stands for. But it's basically NA Dota 2.
Right.
It's their other name for them, and they cover just the North American scene.
And like just to bounce off that thought you just said, basically from my assessment of what Neo Dota was, it's supposed to be like the professional version of NA Dota, and NA Dota is supposed to be NA Dota, but I don't get it. But I'm not casting for them, so I don't have to get it.
Yeah, I don't know if professional is something that NEL was or ever strive to be, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It depends.
They're good people. It was fun. I mean, I think I'm still on their webpage. Let me check. Did they take me off? No, I'm still there, but I never gave them a picture, so.
Because you're so famous, man. You're just like Helium umbrella over everything. You're the umbrella that covers all commentating things.
Oh, I like that. We can work with that.
Yeah, we can work with that. New nickname, Umbrella. All right. Next question I'm actually backtrack a little bit. So, what are your favorite things about Dota in general?
Well, I really just like how much depth there is and how you can just pick 5 random heroes, and if you're creative enough, you can make it work. And there is a meta game, and well, back in like 6.75 Ti2, let's say it was pretty fixed. But since then, Ice Frog balancing the way he does, I think he's a big reason. Of course, I know he's a big reason of why Dota 2 is so successful. There's really like no meta right now. You can pretty much do whatever you want. You can pick up random heroes, and it's how good you are if you can outplay. Sort of right now, though, pushing, at least in 6.78, pushing was, no, 6.79, excuse me, pushing was getting a little ridiculous. But 6.8, they nerfed the Necro. It's fun.
Which is great. Freaking great, because I don't know why, but now Nature's Prophets, every single time I see Nature's Prophet, they always build Necro books, and it's frustrating as crap. Because they're usually not on my team, and they're usually winning.
And if they are on your team, they're cliff jungling.
Oh, God. You hit the nail on the head, man. Holy crap. Alright, and speaking of cliff jungling, I don't know what transition this was, but quick response time. So what is your favorite hero?
Well, we're in jungling, so there's a good transfer. Enchantress.
Alright, what's your favorite pro player?
Pro player, it's pretty hard not to say Dendi. Right. But I'm not going to. I'm going to say Corey from Team Zephyr.
Alright, nice. And what's your favorite team?
We'll go with, that's a toss-up now. We can say Sad Boys. I'm on the Sad Boys train.
Right. I'm on the PBS train because freaking PBS. I casted them when they were doing the other events. And speaking of events, what was your favorite event?
Well, they're eHug now.
They're eHug? They changed their name?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for telling me, because I would have never found them. Alright.
Where'd my team go?
What's your favorite event?
Well, I mean, I work, or volunteer rather is the better word, for SIVO. So, I mean, we do offer a great tournament, but we're still a little smaller right now, so it doesn't quite have the hype for me. But, I mean, it's still amazing. I think, honestly, the most fun I've had casting so far was the Dota 2 Canada Cup.
Ooh, the Canada Cup.
And then very, very recently, I've been on the Join Dota community channel covering the JDL, the Join Dota League, which has been pretty fun.
Yes, that was pretty awesome, but man, I swear, I don't remember those times. Like I just show up on Skype and games going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, what, 5,000 teams, like games just pop up. Of course, there's not that many in Division 1, but there's still quite a few, and it's a loose schedule, games just appear.
Pretty much. And that's actually great for casting work. And speaking of casting work, how has casting affected you in real life? Because I know the scheduling sometimes can be really hectic, especially when you have like something that happens every week on Sundays from 5 to 1 o'clock in the morning, the time you're trying to do homework. And no, I'm not referring to the SECS. Yes, I'm referring to the SECS. But
oh God, yeah, that was a lot when they put me on SECS. I think I did like 2 full days, and I'm like, this is too much. Like it was okay when I didn't have a job and was borderline homeless, but now that I work full time, like I can't cast all day Sunday. Like I couldn't make it. It was exhausting. But yeah, well, we'll say that casting is hard work. A lot of people might overlook that and just look to flame us when we make silly mistakes. But it is pretty exhausting. It's hours and hours of unscripted content, noticing things, looking at the minimap, thinking of something to say, trying to respond intelligently to your co-caster while controlling the minimap. Like it's not the easiest thing in the world. And well, I was once saying like, man, these casters suck. Like I can do better. It's just kind of another reason why I got into it. But now I've so much respect for the people already in the scene, and I've learned a lot, and I've got a long way to go. And I think I've left the question a little bit. Oh, in real life, yeah, it affects scheduling. People are like, let's go out. And I'm like, sorry, like my schedule's being held hostage by a game that might happen, but like there's one pro player on a team. Like I have to cast this.
Right. Or your schedule's being held hostage by an interview that might happen if Kubler remembers.
Yeah, seriously, should flame you.
Oh man, that was so bad. For those who don't know what I'm referring to, this interview was supposed to happen like 5 times already, and I just kept forgetting to get on Skype. And I apologize, Helium, but I'm glad you're here now.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
And alright, aside from casting and playing Dota, what do you do for fun?
Well, not play Dota. Sometimes play Dota. My escape in the other games is still pretty much just Counter-Strike Global Offensive, even though it's kind of whatever, 1.6 for life. But I moved around a lot, so right now, honestly, I don't really do anything for fun. If I can get outside and skateboard, maybe. That's about it.
Skateboards.
It's pretty depressing right now. Well, I'll be real. We'll see what happens though.
Okay. I mean, like you don't like build computers, or you just skateboard,
Oh, I
snowboard,
mean,
stuff like
I
that?
built my computer. Yes, for streaming.
Oh yeah, of course. You gotta have a good rig for streaming. That said, my
Well,
computer
actually, I kind of shot myself in the foot starting out. I didn't have a computer good enough, so for the first like 6, maybe even 8 months of casting, I never streamed once. And as soon as I started streaming, it took like 2 months to get picked up by Neo Dota. So if you want to get into casting, you should invest money in a good microphone and a good computer.
Yes, that is a good piece of advice that I can't necessarily say is totally true because my computer sucks.
I was like, good advice, but you may not be following it.
Yeah, you know, look at Cool Blue, not listen to the answers that people are giving to him. He's just like telling me what I need to do, and I'm not doing it.
A mic is even more important, though.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Agreed. Sound quality is good, and also if you're streaming and you have low bitrate, blurry picture but smooth movement is much more important
definitely
than a crisp picture, because crisp picture and lagginess is horrible. It's horrifying. It's
Another
not
good
watchable.
tip.
Slideshows are not good. All right, moving on to the next question. Wow. Okay. What other games do you play?
I feel like we've pretty much covered that.
Yeah. Counter Strike. So what do you love about Counter Strike that keeps bringing you back, and why 1.6 and not Source?
I remember when my brother's 7 years older than me, and he'd always see me playing Counter Strike. And you know, there was Dust and there was Dust 2, but if you didn't play CS, it was essentially looked like the same map. He's like, "You play this game all day. It's on the same map. Like, how's it not boring?" But it's a team game. There's different strategies. I mean, there's so much depth to some of these games that call themselves or are esports that if you don't play games, you don't really realize. And it's that keeps bringing me back. The creativity. You can almost express yourself inside the game. And it's always fun to talk some trash
That
where
does
people
help.
can't hurt you.
Unless you get banned, then it's not fun.
Yeah, wow, that was the best, getting banned from 1.6 pubs back in the day.
And also, speaking of getting banned, that brings us to a question of the community. As far as the esports community in general, how do you see that, like, in general? Like, what state would you say the esports community is at? Is it a good state, bad state, a state of growth, a state of decay?
Well, it's obviously in a state of growth. I mean, those articles that came out a couple days ago, the PC gaming industry is estimated to go up $3 or $4 billion in 2014, so that's going to be huge, and that's coming from the success, of course, of League of Legends as well as Dota 2. Although Dota 2 is faster growing, but then again, it's got a lot more to grow compared to League of Legends.
Yeah, I mean, look,
we won't
Dota
get
2
into
is
the debate between those games, but
Dota 2 was only in beta for 2 years, I'm just saying.
I mean, it's Valve's time, what do you expect? But they make great products. Esports community, well, I feel like the NA scene is a little toxic and maybe some immaturity, and I don't even know why that is. I guess we're just more open-minded, and we're going to say what we're going to say, especially over the internet. Like, who cares? But that's a problem. I think that needs fixed.
Will
so
that
hopefully
be
we get
that
some
Fourth
more.
Amendment? The Fourth Amendment or Fifth Amendment?
I don't know. Don't even ask me history questions. I have no idea. I'm very ignorant on that subject.
So in general, you see the scene as like it's growing, but it has more room to grow in the it needs to grow more positively than negatively.
I mean, essentially, there just needs to be money in it, because if you start with more money, so growth will equal more money, and then more money will equal, like, hey, you can't say these things or we're not going to pay you, and then people will shapen up, they'll be more professional. So I think that'll be good.
Okay. That is a good point to bring up. I actually think we're starting to see a little bit of that coming out with the, the Good Studio and Beyond the Summit. They're becoming bigger, and like those are well-known names nowadays. And people are saying, hey, look, these are commentators. This is what commentators do. You know, they dress up in suits and they have like so screen and the overlay stuff going on. And I think that's really helping out the scene in general. Even though Twitch chat is still kappa.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. Now that I actually cast with thousands of viewers, my Twitch chat is now unreadable, and it's fun. I already kind of miss the old days of just like 20 people, you know.
Yeah, 20 people having an actual conversation about the game and not just talking about random things.
Yeah.
But that is Dota, man. You get bigger, you have to worry about other things.
It's everything, though.
As with everything. All right, and next question. Any interesting talents that you will be... Actually, hold on. No, back that up. Interesting fact about yourself that people generally don't know that you would be okay with the internet knowing.
Well, the internet already knows I cast Dota, so that would be an interesting fact for me that a lot of people in real life don't know about me. In terms of the internet, I don't know. Am I really that interesting of a person? I mean, we talked about I can solve the Rubik's Cube pretty quickly, but that's really not that cool because you can YouTube videos of people doing it in 2 seconds.
How fast?
I can play the... Sorry, what?
How fast can you solve the Rubik's Cube?
I'm always under a minute, but my fastest is maybe like 20 seconds. I usually get like 45.
Oh, nice. Okay. And you were saying something about music too?
Yeah, I play the piano decently, and I play guitar decently. I can kind of consider myself okay at everything, but not really great at anything, and I guess Dota casting is where I'm striving to be great.
Huh, okay. That was very interesting. I mean, you may think it's boring, but that's interesting to me because I can't play piano. Like, I can play Mary Had a Little Lamb. That's about it. So you should feel proud about yourself, man. You should feel proud about yourself. Alright, any interesting talents?
No, I don't know. I mean, that was kind of my vague answer to interesting talents.
Okay.
I can't balance a broomstick on my nose or anything like that, so...
Dude, can you draw or anything? That's technically a talent.
Not really.
You can play music. Do you have, like, perfect tuning?
No, God, so awful.
Are you good at debating?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, fine.
I'm very open-minded. Is that a talent?
No, that's more so a thing that you need on the internet. If you don't have open-mindedness on the internet, your YouTube channel / Twitch page will just go to crap very fast.
True.
True story. Closed-minded people don't make money. Fact. Anyway, says a closed-minded person. Anyway, moving on to the next thing that I asked. Do you have any shout-outs you'd like to make as we come to the closing of this interview?
Yeah, there's probably quite a few. So I guess since we started about the origins of casting, big shout out to Michael Callie who helped me get started.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving on to that, we've got Sivo. So everyone over at Sivo, Pfeiffer, Spangler, the admins. And then, of course, now recently joining me over there, my fellow casters, we've got Gorgon, Chicago Ted, Toffees, and then I don't know if they've even cast for Sivo yet, but Ever Improve, a combination quite a few of you may know. Mm-hmm. We've got, gosh, all the teams that I've had the pleasure to cast. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that's... we got to do Capitalist, Toby One, for hooking me up on the JD community channel, getting the word out there, sending the tweets to their many thousands of followers. Mm-hmm. Aaron Spitwad from Neo Dota for reaching out to me, helping me get some presence there. Where, again, Mott sort of comes into play, and what do we got? Coddle Guy, he's a pro. I feel like I'm winning the Grammys right now. We've got Coddle Guy.
Grammys, man. This is your moment to
We've
shine.
got Mott, Vic Roman, Greg What Is Hip, and yeah, we'll stop there.
No, dude, keep going. Come on, it's gotta be some more. It's gotta be some more people that
Cool
that
Blue for starting the Casters Network, the interview, family, people that support me, people that don't support me and call me stupid for wanting to cast Dota, because I thrive on that a little bit.
Okay, we'll go ahead and cut the list there. But like all I gotta say is I love the fact that you said like all these names going down a list, like this person, that person, family. It's like...
Well, I don't know. Family's kind of removed from this because they don't play the games, they don't really understand it, So it's kind of harder for them, but they're definitely still supportive.
Yes, and for all those who don't believe Helium on that point, just try to take a Dota game or a Dota commentator and show your parents, who presumably don't play Dota, and try to explain to them what's going on. It's fun. Very fun.
They're like, okay, I'm gonna leave.
Exactly. Alright, and where can people find you? Because I have two of your links up here. I have the Sivo and the Twitter page, but are there any other places that you want to throw a shout out, or do you want to explain those other things like Sivo a little bit more?
Well, the only thing to say about Sivo is that if you're watching this before February 17th, make sure to go over to Sivo.com, that's C-E-V-O, and you can sign your team up for Season 4, $5,000 in cash prizes for that 8-week season and then a post-season, so it's pretty decent money. I think it's actually the highest amateur Dota prize pool currently, tied with the JDL. So yeah, check that out. And for Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at Heliumbrella. That's really the most important because I cast on a ton of different channels. Right. So you can find out when, what, and where I'm casting, and any other information you need, you'll find on the Twitter.
And one last question,
it's just a good correlation when people look for when organizations look for people to cast for them, at least, casting pro Dota, they're going to look and see my Twitter, like, oh, he's got 20 followers. Like, we're not going to take him. He doesn't have enough notoriety. But if they see me with maybe 2,000, they're going to think, oh, like, this guy's legit.
Right.
We'll hire him. So it does really help out just following.
Yes, it does. Having that ball of people who support you does definitely help out, especially on the internet, because technically we're all anonymous, and if you have people who are like saying this guy's legit, people look at you differently. It's been
Got a snowball, man. Get those first 100, and then
next thing you know, you're a partner with Twitch. Boom. Wait, are you partnered with Twitch yet?
Exactly. I probably would have been. I would have definitely been partnered with Twitch by now if I kept using my own channel, but.
Okay.
Oh well.
One last question I ask you though. Can you tell us a very clever joke? Not necessarily your favorite joke, but just a clever joke that parents can listen to as well.
Why'd you say? Now I gotta like refrain it.
That's why I had to say it.
All right. Hopefully this one doesn't offend anybody. But what's the problem with? Wait, how's it go? Yeah. What's the problem with Mexican and black jokes?
I'm not sure if I want to ask, but what?
Once you've heard Juan, you've heard Jamal.
Okay, that wasn't that offensive. Okay, we'll take
Yeah,
it
it starts off, you think it's going to be pretty offensive, and then it's family fun.
Yeah, it's family fun. Just don't go any deeper than that. And next thing you know, you end up in dead baby jokes. So we're going to go ahead and cut it there before anything becomes too unprofessional. Helium, thank you for joining us here on this CasNet Network interview. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll let you say the final goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.